Hey guys, it's Dean. I've got Darrell here to talk about reclaiming your fitness. Darrell, where are you from, by the way?
I live in Norwich, New York, in upstate New York near Syracuse.
Okay, cool. So, let's talk about your oh shit moment. When did you realize that you weren't where you wanted to be with your fitness and it was time for a change?
I remember it well. It was April 2023. I was walking uphill. I live in an area that's kind of hilly. I was walking uphill and my left hip started to hurt, and it hurt a lot.
Hmm.
And so I went to the doctor, and the doctor did a few tests and an x-ray. There was nothing, physically injured with me. So he sent me to a physical therapist.
Hmm.
The physical therapist worked with me and got my hip feeling better. And then I asked him what I could do to keep this from happening again. And he told me two things. Number one, lose weight, because I was grossly overweight at that point. Number two, find yoga. And he qualified that by saying, find a yoga designed for men, and find a yoga that will um, customize things to fit what's hurting you. And in my case, it was my hips.
Hmm.
So I went off and I Googled yoga for men, and I found Man Flow Yoga, and I cycled back to my physical therapist and asked him about Man Flow Yoga, and he told me he had heard of it, but didn't know anything about it. But it looked okay.
Okay.
So the next day I started. Next day I started.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised that he
Yeah,
didn't know about it because it sounds like he was describing it. And I don't know there's not that many yoga that's
yeah,
specifically designed for men. I mean, there's a couple, male instructors that put out a lot of yoga for men content. But as far as like programs specifically designed for men, anyways, interesting. Okay. So you found Manful Yoga, you got into, so it was, how'd you get started, or what was your first goals in terms of consistency, and like how many workouts per week were you focusing on doing?
I tried. I just did the initial, um, just the initial new member yoga
Hmm.
yoga routine, and I started doing it 3 days a week. I put it on the calendar.
Hmm.
Did it 3 days a week, and in the beginning, it was a little difficult, but over time, I started feeling much better in my hip.
Hmm.
Um, but I realized as I was doing it, so I completed the intro series and I did the breath series.
Okay.
And I did, figured out as I was doing it that my weight was my next challenge. It was preventing me from doing a lot of the moves that I wanted to do in
Hmm.
my hip. So that was my next challenge, was to figure out the weight loss issue.
Yeah. So let's go into that first. So I always love talking about this. So let's go into your first month. So you're doing 3 days per week. You put it on the calendar. Did you put it on a physical calendar, or did you put it on a calendar, on a smart calendar, or how did you track that?
I did it both. I had it on my Google Calendar. I also had yellow sticky notes on my countertop in my bathroom.
Oh, okay, cool. Do those help you
I did two
remind
ways.
yourself to do it?
Yeah, it was a reminder, especially in the beginning when I wasn't in the mode of doing that.
Yeah.
It was a reminder that I think I picked at that point Monday, Wednesday, Friday
Okay.
to do it.
Got
hmm
it. So you mentioned it was difficult initially. What aspects of, getting started what were difficult?
My body was inflexible. My hips were inflexible in particular, and also it was difficult having frankly, a large stomach
Mhm.
and doing a lot of it. It just
Yeah.
became it was cumbersome. It was cumbersome.
Yeah.
But my hips started feeling better, and my hips started feeling better immediately. Then I realized to go kind of the next level, I was going to have to do something else
Yeah. So you say immediately. How quickly was immediately?
within a week or two.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, easily. Even after the first day, a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing really was good.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad. And like 3 days, that's what we hear pretty consistently. Is if you do at least 3 days, then things will start feeling better. So, in terms of getting yourself to do the workouts, and you did say that you noticed the improvement even within that first day. But what do you think enabled you to be consistent?
I think I was tired. It scared me a little bit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
having pain walking uphill. I had never had pain before. I've always been healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and having pain like that was something that I realized I just did not want at all, and I was feeling old,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like that. I didn't like that very well.
Yeah.
I was driven to make a change.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Um, so that was your so the scare was the what enabled you to be consistent, and then you're gonna go a little bit deeper than that. If you go a little bit deeper than that, we can talk about the motivation. So, what's the what was the fear behind that? What was the larger meaning of that fear?
Fear was that I wouldn't be able to take walks. I
Okay.
love being outside. I love hiking in the woods. I'm an outdoors person, and I need that for my own physical and my own mental being.
Yeah.
And the fear of not being able to do that anymore was scary.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you deal with discouragement with not being able to do some of the poses the way that you wanted to, or with low energy when it came time to do your workouts and you just, weren't really feeling it?
Well, I tried everything. I made up my mind I was going to try everything.
Hmm.
It was frustrating when I couldn't do something, particularly just because I had a large stomach. That just
Yeah.
it really frustrated me. And I think it made me even want to grit my teeth and do it more.
Yeah. So what were the poses that you had difficulty with the stomach?
Oh, oh my gosh, pigeon, 90-90.
Hmm.
Um, really anything that required me to bend over.
Yeah.
Um, really anything to bend over
Yeah.
was challenging.
How can I ask how old you are?
I'm 62.
62. And
Yep.
what was your weight at the time when you got started?
255.
255. And how tall are you?
5'10".
5'10". Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, the belly can make a big difference.
Yep.
Excuse the pun.
And that was my weight in April 2023.
Got it. Okay. What's your weight now? As of
210,
late 20. Okay, 45 pounds. That's
10,
amazing.
45 pounds.
That's
Hmm.
great.
Yep.
So, and we kind of talked about this before we started the interview. But can you explain to me how you went from, we've got hip pain, we're seeing a physical therapist. Okay, now we're doing manful yoga 3 times per week. How did you how did you progressively build on top of that habit of manful yoga 3 days per week? And how did that also lead to you having that pretty significant weight loss?
Well, I decided to start listening to a few of the Manful Yoga podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And I was tuning in here and there, and I remember the day I was sitting down. I was kind of half listening to one of your podcasts, and it happened to be the one with that with Dr. A from Fit Father Project.
Yeah.
And I was half listening, and I heard the two of you talking back and forth, and I suddenly realized you were describing me,
Mm,
and it got my attention. So much so that I replayed the video 3 times
wow.
afterwards. And I said, I think I felt in the moment, I think this is something I need to have some faith and go investigate more, that being Fit Father Project.
Yeah.
And so I did. I did the next day. I bought the trial the next day and
Hmm.
started.
So
Hmm.
tell me what part of that felt like I was speaking directly to you or we were describing you.
overweight, middle-aged man having trouble moving. You're kind of describing my hips without mentioning hips. You're kind of describing them.
Hmm.
Some of the, I used to have a stressful job, so I
Hmm.
really related to that kind of conversation about how stress and affects you. I heard discussion about processed foods
Hmm.
when you were talking, and that was like, oh my gosh, I'm eating those things.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, you're describing my life and me
Hmm.
um, very explicitly. It was kind of one of those moments, if you
Yeah.
will.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that that resonated with you. So, you started doing Fit Father Project. What were some of the things that And I'm pretty familiar with this system. We have a lot of overlap between Manful Yoga and Fit Father Project in terms of how we think about health and wellness, but also in terms of just the amount of people who are doing both. There's hundreds of people from within Manful Yoga and Fit Father Project who are using both of those systems to help with their health. So, what were some of the things that you did within Fit Father Project that really helped with the weight loss, would you say?
But what I started doing immediately was alternating Manful Yoga and Fit Father Project exercises. So I went to a 6 day a week regimen where I was alternating Manful Yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Fit Father Project Tuesday, Thursday, and once on the weekend.
Mhm.
I did that in tandem with the diet regimen from Fit Father Project, including the morning protein shakes.
Okay. Got it. That's a
I
lot of
have a
working out.
job. It is, and I gave myself permission though to rest. There was a couple of times where I felt it was a little much, so I gave myself a permission for a day off occasionally if I wanted.
Yeah.
Um, I became better, much better at listening to my body and what I needed at
Mhm.
that point. I'm a licensed massage therapist, so I have a job that is um, somewhat physical in nature.
Yeah.
So
Very.
I realized almost immediately that those programs were helping me be more flexible on my job.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I like that you gave yourself permission to take a day off, and I'm wondering if you kind of always had that mindset of let me be, essentially what you're doing when you're giving yourself permission to take a day off is saying, hey, like it's okay, right? We're doing all that we can, and it's okay if I take a day off. So you're practicing being kind to yourself. And I'm wondering, have you, since you started working out with Manful Yoga, so since April 2023, have you always had that mindset, or was that something that you kind of developed? And if so, where did it come from?
I think I developed it. Um, I think that I realized that stress was part of uh, my um, my unhealthy habit,
Hmm.
and I was putting stress on myself. So I had to be more mindful about saying I'm too stressed right now.
Hmm.
Um, I can stop. I can stop. Take a deep breath. Um, in some of those days that I did take a break, the break included doing a few things from like the breath series or
Hmm.
something really non-physical just to help me finish the day out.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes it didn't mean doing the exact scheduled workout, but you would do something else
Hmm.
instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. And there was days I did that was it was just a walk
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
Just take a walk instead.
Yeah. That's great. Um, so, all right. So you're doing the workouts and you're doing 6 workouts a week, did you say, or seven or six? What
No,
was
I
it?
never did 7.
Oh,
I
okay.
never did. I always had at least one day where I did.
Okay. Got it. So, and when you were doing the 6 workouts per week, were you making any significant changes to diet yet, or were you focusing just on the exercise?
Oh, no, I was making changes to diet in parallel.
Okay.
Um, I removed all processed foods from my diet. I became grocery shopping became a much longer task because I started reading every single label
Mm-hmm.
was on it. Took up processed foods. Since my job is kind of physical, part of my problem was I would get too hungry in the morning,
Okay.
um, and then I would have the wrong things to eat to recover from that. So the protein shakes from Fit Father Project just solved that problem. I have
Mm-hmm.
a protein shake about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it lasts me to 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't have the need for food,
Wow.
and yeah, and I'm still doing that to this day. I'm still doing that about 3 or 4 mornings a week. I still do protein shakes.
Wow. That's great.
hmm
Um, and then eliminating processed food. Was there anything else that you think was a big part of that? The nutrition changes?
Um, mm, well, as a result of that, I think I became very in tune by reading labels and finding things that say added sugar
Mm-hmm.
on them and not having them. Um, I had to be kind of I had to put my foot down a few times when we went out and not order the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I became much more in tune to that. I think I became stronger in saying no
Mm-hmm.
to that. That was not easy to say no sometimes.
Yeah. Why was it hard to say no?
Others, peer
Yeah.
pressure.
Just peer pressure.
I'm
Yeah.
around others. I'm around my wife.
Yeah.
I had to be. I I saying no was just a difficult thing for me. I had to
Mm-hmm.
just say no, and I'd have people. I sometimes they have a strange look or something if I'd say no because that wasn't my norm to do that
Yeah.
um, in the past.
Yeah. Change scares people.
It's a
people
scary
people
thing,
see you
isn't it?
people see you doing different things and they're like, "That's not normal. Ah, this
Yeah,
changes how I think of you and I don't like it. I'm scared."
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
um
I get that.
so how did the weight loss progression happen? How did that do you have like a do you remember how much weight you were losing per month or,
Oh
some of
yeah,
those milestones?
I took off. So I lost about 45 total. The first 20 pounds or 25 pounds came off really easy. Came off fast and
Wow.
really easy. The next 20 or 25, not so easy. And I still would like to lose 10 more. And I'm kind of stuck there a little bit right now. I'd
Mhm.
like to go down. I'd like to hit the 199 number on the scale.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Got it. Do you have anything else, in terms of your overall health working against you for weight loss? Do you have any precondition do you have
No,
any Okay.
no, I'm a quote unquote healthy, 62-year-old male. Yeah.
Yeah. The people in your family, do they have a history of obesity or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a history of people in my family that are extremely large or extremely thin.
Hmm.
And there's one strain of my family that has a very bad chronic diabetes strain to it. So I'm always tested for diabetes because of the family history.
Mhm.
And I've always been kind of marginal. Like I've never been at the level that I need to be treated for diabetes, but I've always
Mhm.
been on the watch for it.
Got it.
And my numbers are down now. My numbers are down. My glucose numbers way down.
That's great.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So what are some of the improvements, aside from, just losing weight, what are some of the improvements that you've noticed in your life as a result of this wellness improvement?
Oh, I feel great. I feel peppy. Um, I never had realized what a good feeling it would be to go shopping and buy something that I really wanted to have and look good in.
Hmm.
Shopping had never been something that I'd like to do because I was buying big clothes and I
Yeah.
didn't like it. And now I can buy things I want, and it's absolutely cool
Yeah.
to do that.
Hmm. Um, what else?
Mm. My energy level is way up. It's high. Um, I have I one of my hobbies is baking. I love to
Hmm.
bake, It's both. A hobby is also kind of emotional with some very good memories
Yeah.
with that. So I've had to learn how to a little bit of relearning, retooling
Hmm.
on how to do that, where I can still have what I need for myself, but yet not gain weight from it.
What are some healthy baking tips that you can give people?
There's a few of the old recipes that I have that I played around with sugar content.
Okay.
I reduced sugar content where it's needed. Um, I've learned how to do some substitutes. Like I've learned how to make sweet potato brownies.
Okay.
They're absolutely out of this world and much healthier rather than the real brownies that I would have made before.
Hmm.
Um, I've learned. Oh, the other thing I had to do was I had to stay away from bakeries.
Okay.
Not to go there anymore. I actually had one of my defining moments in the first month of this process was I went into my favorite bakery and I had a mini panic attack in there,
Oh, wow.
because I wanted to buy those things, and myself was conflicted
Hmm.
on that, and I had to go leave the store and go outside and sit in my car for a moment,
Wow.
regroup. Then I went back in and I made a sensible choice in
Hmm.
the store. That kind of scared. I think that kind of scared me. That made me realize I have to make a change because I should not have been behaving like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and all of these change came about because of you being afraid of not being able to walk anymore. So to this point, it
No,
just
no.
hadn't been a big enough issue.
I've had a on and off weight gain, weight loss in my past,
Hmm.
but it never affected me with pain with walking. I never had pain. I always was overweight and I didn't think I looked good. And I tried various weight loss things in the past that worked for a while, but that didn't work.
Hmm.
Um, but the pain never was there before. That was new this time.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I guess I'm glad that your hip hurt then.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. In a way
Yeah.
it was. Glad I was trying to push myself to walk and not just give up.
Yeah. So one of the other things I like to ask is about external support systems. So, you're part of, you're part of the Manful Yoga community, you're part of the Fit Father Project community. Um, how have those been helpful to you with the weight loss journey, with health and wellness?
Oh, both have. I've, social media, if you will, in those two ways, helped me a couple of times when I needed a little lift because it's not always positive. I had moments where I, doubted myself,
Hmm.
um, needed a little emotional lift. Those things are so helpful, and those are things we didn't have a few years ago to use as a tool. We have them now.
Right.
I feel it's important to use what we have, and that's one that
Yeah.
we have now.
Do you feel like you do a good job of balancing social media for its benefits versus, using it for Uh, it's it's harm, I guess. It's really easy to use it
Uh,
as a comparison tool, but you mentioned using it as a way to help with, to create community, to create that support.
there's some times that I just shut off social media, even these Manful Yoga and Fit Father Project social media. I have days. I pick days where I just say no social media, and I also have had picked days where I don't wear my Fitbit,
Hmm. Hmm.
where I say no, I'm just going to go offline, if you will, for a day. The world can live without that. They don't need me doing that. And
Yeah.
I think that helps to have those kind of day offs or those down times
Yeah.
sometimes.
Do you do anything that you think allows you to, because you've been describing a lot of mindfulness in
Mhm.
throughout this conversation. So you're mindful about being able to say no. You're mindful through these changes that you've made. Do you think that there's anything that any of your habits or things that you do on a regular basis that help you have that mindfulness to be able to recognize this is what I need today? No, I don't need this in my life today. Some of the things you're saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the I in the past have not recently, but I've had in the past times where I've suffered from depression,
Hmm.
and I learned a lot of tools in those periods on how to reset and grounding. I've had to use those sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, and Yeah, I mean, I think those kinds of things that help you kind of center yourself.
Hmm.
I also use prayer. That's part of what I do.
Hmm.
Those things are important
Yeah.
to help you through things like this. It's life changing, and it's important to have those tools to use.
Yeah. I mean, and you also mentioned your walking habit earlier. I would imagine that would be hugely helpful.
Oh yeah, a good walk in the woods
Yeah.
has been needed on some days.
Yeah.
Like, get me out of here. Go. I need to go walk in the woods.
I hear
Yeah,
that. So
absolutely.
can you touch on some of the external support systems again? So, you mentioned you have used both of those communities, but what specifically have you found them helpful for?
Mm, you mean on the social media sites
Yeah,
or
on the Facebook group. So like the Fit Father Project Facebook group or the Manful Yoga
mm,
Community Facebook group or
um well, all of it. I mean, there's been a couple of times that I've just had some questions about what I'm doing, particularly nutrition wise. I've had
Okay.
questions at times about things I found, and I would posted those, and I would get immediate answers back.
Yeah.
Um, it was quick. So there's a few factual things like that that I needed help with at times.
Mhm.
Um, um,
So it was
yeah,
just
and
information?
and
Were
it,
there things like, I
yeah,
don't know, like something that we hear about a lot is sometimes, it's good to learn that somebody else is going through the same thing that I'm going through, or a lot of people talk about falling off the wagon and then getting support to hear that, oh, I fell off the wagon too. It's okay. You just get back on.
yeah, yeah. But that is, yes, those are helpful, but those are also the things sometimes I have to shut off.
Mm,
Um, I don't need, at times I need a reminder, and sometimes I don't need a constant reminder
yeah.
of where I was.
Okay.
That's the balancing act about being having enough of those social groups to help, and then knowing when to kind of stop.
Right. So what's the next thing you want to work on in your fitness? You mentioned you would like to lose another 10 pounds. It sounds like you've got a pretty good, nutrition guidelines that you're following. You're working out pretty consistently, but what's the next thing you want to work on? The next goal?
Well, of course, the 10 pounds, like you mentioned. I also I need to because of my job as a licensed massage therapist. There's some things I do with my shoulders that are challenging,
Hmm.
in particular some of the yoga routines. And I kind of want to find my way through that and help strengthen my upper body,
Hmm.
but not in any way compromise um, what I do for a living. Um, I'm also entering a period of time where my stress is going to be high. My wife and I are in the process of retiring.
Mm.
So I need to figure out how to balance. Actually, my wife is retiring. Our her part of her job is a home, part of her compensation.
Hmm.
So when she retires, we have to move.
Got it.
Um, so I need to have the balance of life and exercise and diet as we go through that.
Hmm.
And so that'll be in 2025. That's what'll happen.
Got it. Okay. All right. So now we've got our rapid fire questions. And I'm going to ask you four questions, and then I just want you to respond with whatever feels to be the best answer in the moment. So you don't have to think too hard about it. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. What is one habit, belief, or mindset that has helped you, in your opinion, the most with your overall health and wellness? Habit, belief, or a
Um,
mindset?
taking time in the grocery store to read labels.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I like that. Next question. What is one thing that you do for your health that is often overlooked or undervalued by others?
Saying no to food.
Okay. Yep. And what is the most stressful part of your day to day life?
Stress.
Well, what kind of stress?
Oh, well, stress in general, but actually, my confidence
Confidence.
or lack of confidence.
Okay. How so?
I doubt myself all the time.
Yeah.
And I have to remember that I look good, that I can, it's okay to look good and feel good.
Hmm. Okay. And what's your best piece of advice for men who want to be healthier?
Just start, take it slow, and have a goal and work through it. It may not be immediate, but just keep looking at the daily change.
Okay. Cool.
Keep going.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add in?
Hmm. Um, no, probably not. I mean, I really enjoyed this. I love talking about it. It just
Yeah.
turns me on. I just love it.
Yeah. And
I could
I'm,
talk hour. I could talk hours if you wanted.
yeah, it's fun to talk about this. And I just want to say thank you for all of your contributions to the community. I know that, a lot of guys in our community don't really, before they joined, they don't really have a habit of sharing things publicly that often. And so I think most of the people in the group don't. So coming in and kind of getting out of that comfort zone, and actually sharing things is really important, and it's really helpful for other people. It inspires people. It makes people motivated, and it helps them, recognize, oh, this guy's doing it, so I can do it. And also, oh, this guy's got the same question that I do. That's great, because I didn't want to
Yeah.
ask it, but he did.
I and I can say that helped me hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Darrell, thanks for doing this. Guys listening,
You're welcome.
yeah. And guys listening in, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it inspires you to be a better man. I'll see you on the next episode.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you, Darrell.
Yeah. Bye.